Hey, can you do 300 Kegels in one sitting? If you can, then you are ready to level up to the next level of Benoit balls. Today, I want to talk about three wonderful inventions, and they are all tools and can be combined as toys as well. They are Benoit balls, love beads, and duotone balls. So I'm going to explain all three, show you what they are, and tell you why they work and how to use them. So the first one is Benoit balls. Benoit balls are two gold-plated little balls. They're relatively heavy, and they are placed inside a relaxed vagina that is not super wet and not stimulated. And the person who uses them must be standing or sitting because they're relatively heavy. And if you're standing or sitting and you put them into that chamber, very slowly, gravity will start to pull them down, and you have to use your muscles to keep them from falling out. Now, the people who created Benoits today, many of the manufacturers do not know how to use this product. And it really becomes a little dangerous when you have a product that is excellent, but you don't know how to use it. So this is one of those products. Now I say that because this company, Benoit United, who actually brings Benoits to the United States, they included directions with their Benoits, and their Benoit directions were completely wrong. One of the things they said is that you can lie down, or you should lie down when you're putting them in, but it never says that you should get up after you put them in. So right there, absolutely wrong. You do not want to lie down, because if you're lying down and you're using the Benoits, there is no effort on your part to keep them from to keep them in. They're not rolling out. Gravity is not bringing them downward because they're just resting there. So you absolutely have to be in a vertical position, whether you are standing or sitting, absolutely essential. Another thing that this manufacturer said is that you can use them while you're doing your housework. Just put them in and something magical is going to happen. Nothing magical is going to happen. These balls do not make anything magical happen. It is only because you are squeezing on them and place them up against the G-spot that you create a certain amount of tension inside the vaginal walls so that it pushes out the G-spot, and then you can create the most phenomenal vaginal orgasm. But unto themselves, they do absolutely nothing. They don't vibrate. They don't move around by themselves. And then another really ridiculous thing that this manufacturer said was that you can put them in and have them in while you're making love. The most ridiculous and dangerous thing you can possibly imagine is to have these two little metal balls inside the vagina as someone is pounding you and pushing them up inside of you. How is that beneficial to anybody? But yet the manufacturer said you could absolutely do that. And another thing that they said, which is ridiculous, is that you put them in and you squeeze around them for 10 times, and then you do 3 sets of 10, and then you're done, and then you do that 10 times during the course of a day. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't have 10 times during the course of the day to run and shove Benoit balls up. This is an exercise that should take place in 5 minutes. And you really do have to have a certain amount of tone to keep them in. So you start by doing Kegels, just straight Kegels by themselves, and you work up to being able to do 300 Kegels in one sitting. And then after you've gotten to that level of tone and strength, then you can add Benoit balls to it. Now, if you're doing just the exercise with the Benoit balls, it takes about 5 minutes. That's all. You just put them in and squeeze around them. You'll feel them slipping down and out, and using nothing but your vaginal muscles, you keep them in and keep squeezing around them. It will add to your tone, of the tonal quality of the vagina. It will add to your sensitivity of the pelvic floor. It'll the whole pelvic area will become much more sensitive. There's just so many benefits. You will heal so much faster after you have a baby. It will bring that pelvic floor right up to where it belongs. So this is a very, very important tool. And if you use it correctly, it is not only healing to the body, but it can prevent problems in the long run, because here we are standing and gravity is constantly pushing everything down, and including your pelvic floor. And if you have 2 or more children, then your pelvic floor could look more like a hammock than like a floor. So if you want it to get right back up to where it was, Kegel exercises are super important, and doing them with Benoit's is like adding a weight resistance exercise and weight to this isometric exercise. So imagine these are vaginal walls, and by themselves they're just, here, and now I press together. That's an isometric exercise where you have one pressure pushing against another. Okay, well, if you're doing this all by itself and you get to 300, then you can add the weight resistance of the Benoit's to it. And when you do, you will feel an incredibly different sensation inside the vagina, and you will be able to achieve many vaginal multiple orgasms, because this is the tool that makes it happen. So it's 5 minutes for just the exercise, just for the tonal quality, and it's 15 minutes for achieving the vaginal orgasm. But once you have a vaginal orgasm, you'll never want to go back to just a clitoral orgasm. A vaginal orgasm is multiple, it's intense, there's ejaculation. It's just the most incredible thing that a human body can do. So that's kind of like the lowdown on Benoit balls. I really believe every woman should own a set of Benoit balls. She should work with them before she gets pregnant, and then most certainly within 24 hours of pushing that baby out, she should put them in and start to work on them again. Remember, they are heavy. They are falling down and out of the vagina. They do not rise up by themselves. And if you freak out at the thought, oh, I can't put 2 loose balls up inside my vagina, put them in a condom, tie a knot at the end of the condom, put the end with the balls up inside the vagina, let the condom hang out. And then this way, if you're squeezing around them, and you want to pull them out, you've got the little ripcord there, and you can just pull them down and out. So that's how they are a tool, that they strengthen, tone, and increase the sensitivity of the vagina and increase the odds of having multiple orgasm. And they are a toy for creating that multiple orgasm, because you put them in, and that weight resistance and the way that you create the tension, it seriously is one of the most exquisite pleasures that a person can have. Now, the second ball or beads are love beads. Now, love beads come in small, medium, and large. These are large, and even large is maybe about the size of a nickel. They're not huge, all right? And these are jelly ones. On the ring, on the string here, I should say, there is a little knot next to each of the balls so that they don't bunch up at the end. Now, love beads are mostly for him, and they are a tool. They're an active massage tool of the prostate in lieu of the famous finger. There are other tools by Aneros, Aneros, specifically for prostate massage and stimulation. Every man who cares about his prostate and the health of his prostate should own one of these tools. And if you don't want to invest heavily, love beads are a great beginner's tool. And especially once he hits 40 years old. Okay, we could say maybe 45, but the longer you wait to deny that that body part needs attention, the longer it has to atrophy from lack of use. So it's really important to understand that the prostate has a purpose. It is not wrong. It is not nasty. It is not homosexual. It is a part of your body that is very important for when you're going to have sex with a female to help her create a baby, because your sperm by itself isn't strong enough, doesn't have the fluid to actually come jettisoning out of your body. But with the fluid that is created by your prostate, it does. So it all combines together and it comes shooting out, and then your sperm has that the fluid to actually help it to stay alive as it works its way towards the egg. So the prostate has gotten a bad reputation. Now, it's like people are hung up on its function and its location, and they need to get over it. You just need to get over it. You're causing your body unnecessary stress because of your belief system. Somebody taught you that it's a homosexual part, and so now the idea of touching it is shameful or dirty or nasty or wrong or something. You don't have problems touching your nuts. You don't have problems touching your ears. You don't have problems running your hand through your hair. Why would you have problems with this? This is a body part that needs to be cared for, and you need to learn to love every part of your body and appreciate it, what it can do, not only for its functionality, but also for its fun. So if you're going to use love beads, this is like I said, it's a massage tool for the rubbing in lieu of the finger, but it's mostly a toy, and it is used to help men achieve the double header orgasm that women can have via their G-spot. But now for men, it's via their P-spot or their prostate. So it's a couple of things to remember. First of all, the recipient has to be relaxed, okay? If he's uptight, if he's worried, if he's thinking that this is going to hurt and he's like clenching, it's not going to happen. Okay. So number one, must absolutely be relaxed. So maybe a massage in that area is a good idea beforehand. And then it's a really good idea that the area is well lubricated, because the anus in itself does not produce enough lubrication to make inserting them easy. So you need to have some lubrication. A good thing to remember is that if you're going to do this, everything should be ready and around you. You don't want to have to go running to get a lube or running to get anything. You should have everything that you need right there. Nothing breaks a mood faster than having to run to get something. And here's a hint that is really helpful. When a person is panting through their mouth, because they're so excited. When this orifice is open, all the orifices on their body are more relaxed and open, including the anus. So that would be the time that the love beads can be introduced. So they are inserted one by one, very, very slowly. We'll pretend this is an anus here. Very slowly, one after another, okay? You're not shoving them, you're just putting them in, and then leave them in for a few minutes. Take the attention off of there, stimulating other body parts, stimulating the penis, the testicles, the perineum, nipples, ears. There's so many other body parts to focus on. And then just when your lover is ready to have his orgasm, learn that by asking. There's nothing wrong with asking. Then you want to pull this cord very, very slowly out. And as you pull it out very, very slowly, you are rubbing up against each one of these little balls is rubbing up against the prostate and massaging it. And I'm not saying that this needs to be done every day all the time, But, you cannot ignore body parts and think they're just going to run without any kind of maintenance, any kind of care. Especially if there's a problem, if you think, well, that's dirty or that's nasty or that's wrong or I shouldn't do that or that, you're casting aspersions, you're casting negative thoughts towards your body part. It does not surprise me, especially in this country, that so many men have prostate problems. You don't use it, you lose it. And if it's never stimulated, if it's never rubbed either directly or indirectly, then it will atrophy. And when it atrophies, you're going to have all kinds of problems with it. And you're going to try to take meds and you're going to try to do other things to fix it. Listen, better to avoid problems by embracing the body's potential for pleasure, learning what each organ and gland does for function, for functionality, and for fun, and then honoring that inside your body. Now, the last balls that I want to show you are orgasm duotone balls. Now, these were actually the tool that Christian Grey introduced into Anastasia in the first book of 50 Shades of Grey. Okay? A lot of people thought that he slipped Benoit balls inside of her. Well, there's absolutely no way you can put Benoit balls inside someone and then they're going to go dancing. Absolutely not. As soon as she starts dancing, those balls are going to fall down and roll away. Duotone balls have a string, and they are rather wide, so they stay where you put them. You put them inside, and they stay where you put them because they take up more room inside the vagina, right? And each one of these has another ball inside of it. Here, right? You can hear that there's another ball inside of there. So now when you put these inside the vagina, you want movement. You want to go dancing, you want to go running, you want to do power walking, you want to do something where your body is moving. And as your body is moving, the ball on the inside of the other ball is moving around and it's reverberating and sending a sensation to the walls outside that reach up against your vaginal walls. And the more you move, the more your vaginal walls get excited. Okay? So that is what this is, mindful movement to feel the reverberations with the dancing balls within the balls. They're large enough so they don't fall out, and they are a phenomenal tool for fun and not for exercise, but for fun. And when all is said and done, they have a little ripcord here that you can pull them out because unlike Benoit's, these are not going to fall out. That's why they have that ripcord at the end. So I see that there's a question. Is there any lube to use with Benoit balls? I don't recommend that you use a lube with Benoit balls. If you're after menopause and you want to put something on them, okay, a little bit, but I would lubricate the vagina itself with a good quality lubricant. I like Bliss, but that's, I'll talk about that some other times. It's really, you don't want to make the Benoits too wet because then you're going to have a heck of a time keeping them in if they're seriously wet from the get-go. Usually when you put them in, the vagina itself is kind of on the semi-dry side, and then by squeezing around them, it creates a little moisture inside the vagina, and then the balls start to slip down and out. Well, if you put them in there wet, they're going to slip down and out without ever giving you a chance to really work them. So I would suggest, no, that you don't really start with a lubricant unless you absolutely are so dry that it's necessary to put them in. Are there any other questions? No? Okay. I want to let you know that I shut down my website, Sensuality, Sexuality, Pleasure Advice. It's not there anymore. I have a new website. It's listed here on the bottom. You can always contact me at ellen.nicholas1@gmail.com. If you have questions for the show, it would be my absolute pleasure to address those questions and not only answer them for you, but answer them for our listening audience. I hope you have enjoyed today's program. Balls are a phenomenal tool. They are for fun and for function. And the Benoits themselves are such an incredible tool for strengthening the vagina. The love beads are a phenomenal tool for massaging the prostate, and duotone balls are just plain fun. So thank you very much for joining me this week for another episode of Your Pleasure Incorporated into Daily Living. I hope to see you again next week for another episode of Pleasure. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next week. Bye for now.